Tito!
How's it going?
What's happening, man?
Glad to be back at it.
Man, I thought the first words out of your mouth was going to be "Go Blue." Just saying. How
Why
about
would I
those
say
Wolverines?
something like that?
And you know what
Notice
I
you haven't
noticed?
said too much about your Bears or your Raiders lately.
Who? Raiders just here. They're down. So many players hurt. Coach gets freaking fired or quits.
Yeah,
or
they've
resigns.
really had it put to them this year just for
Yeah.
sideways distractions.
And they're showing a stat that Carr threw for like 290, and they're like one in something if he doesn't throw 300 yards. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what quarterback in the NFL throws 300 yards every week? You know, other than obviously the best quarterback of all time out of University of Michigan, Tom Brady, 4 touchdowns.
Right. In one game. Against Polk High School.
346 yards or something. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't keep up with that stuff. But
All right.
anyways, we're back. I'll take the full blame of the technical difficulty because I think it's been 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. I'm going to start calling you Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Because just when things were going just fine, things trucking along, going well, what do? You know what? I think I'm going to get a brand new computer system and redo the entire show.
Yeah. And I did. So I kind of was due, and probably not, but this podcast with the video feed and everything, I'm kind of anal with that stuff. But I ordered a customized built Dell computer, and it was more for performance. You almost have to have like, I don't know, in my eyes, and again, I don't know what I'm talking about, is like a gamer's computer for this video stuff.
Got to be able to a lot of fast processing. Got to be able to store a bunch of input in real time, because while you've got the video going, while you've got the audio going, while you're changing things around on screen, I got up a lot of memory.
Now we have one of the best video cards out there. Hopefully that solves all of our issues.
I just hope we don't have to repeat all the 39 mistakes we made to get to this point.
You know what? I was looking back. This is episode 10, right?
Uh-huh.
But
paperwork
episode we're
10.
at 374.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So, folks, I'm telling you, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but we start recording and it freezes and this and that. So we've been really going by the seat of our pants on a lot of this stuff, but I think we're getting there.
Yeah, it feels good.
But
good thing we're good looking, because while we're on screen, at least there's something pretty to look at.
There you go. And look at that Michigan shirt. And here, I
Do
went
they
back.
have men's size clothes where you got that?
Listen, it's my big pythons.
Why's it got a Jordan logo on it?
Another great. Tom Brady's on the back, but he's naked. I'm not going to do that. Turn around. You should see my tattoo of Tom Brady.
On your butt?
Oh, no. Anyways, episode 10. We're at episode 10.
Episode 10.
We're trying
the games we play.
Yeah, so Dean always comes up with the outlines, does a pretty good job. I'll give him kudos on that stuff. And he sends this, suggestion or outline or whatever. Hey, why don't we do this? Games people play. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And you started bringing
some of my favorite stuff. Yeah. So back in the day where, when we were all DJing for you, most weekends we were pretty busy, right? There was at least a wedding, a couple private shows, a nightclub gig. But when there wasn't that obligation, we all still got together and hung out and drank beers and whatever, right? But there was a game that you and Charlie would play wherever we'd happen to be, get a little bit of an audience, get people watching, get people going, that you had people convinced that you could read Charlie's mind. And I watched you win drink after drink after drink and frustrate people to no end trying to figure out how the hell you did it. So I thought maybe, how about a trade secret? Let's show people how to play this game. Maybe they can go out and have some fun. Send us some video or some comments in our email about that shit works.
Here and but you got to practice because A, you got to sell it, and B, you got to be pretty good at it.
And C, if you get too drunk, it doesn't matter how good you know it because Charlie will mess it up.
Yeah, because yeah, right. So Charlie and I used to have this thing. Now it always goes around with with alcohol. So we'd tell people that we can read minds. And of course, drunk talk around the bar. Yeah, right. Show us. I'm like, well, we'd sell it like, because he didn't want to do it for free.
Yeah.
So, and I said, it's usually better if you're related. We're not related, but Charlie, we'd always say we've known each other since this high or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's really loud in here. It's a bar. So we'd say, well, there's a lot of concentrating involved, and it's kind of we send sound waves off each other. And they're like, yeah,
it doesn't always work. There's got to be a clear line of connection between us. I don't know. We've already had a couple drinks. We could try it if you want to try it, but yeah.
Right. So, and they're like, well, how's it work? I said, well, here, you can write down on a piece of paper or whisper in my ear something, and Charlie will read my mind. He'll tell you exactly what he wrote down on that piece of cocktail napkin, or
you guys usually did a person, right? Like somebody at least somewhat famous, usually a famous person, but usually a person, right?
Exactly. And we'd go, well, let's not get too crazy, but I said, they go, okay, well, you guys are sending signals. I said, here, why don't you and I just walk outside or to the restroom? You can tell me in there. He'll stay in here. We don't even have to do it in his attendance. You don't have to write it down on a piece of paper, and maybe he can oversee what you wrote down or see how my hand was going and whatever. So we'd sell it. I said, well, here's how to go. We're not in a circus or anything. We're not these circus freaks or something, but it's very, very complicated, and I don't know. And I'd always start high. You want to start at $100? And they're like, no, I'm not gonna bet you $100 or whatever. I said, okay, well, how about a couple beers and shots or something, And we'd set it up, and it starts out pretty much where I sell the thing to him of how to set him up, and I would say, well, here, let's make it semi simple, whatever. Pick like, I don't know, like a celebrity or a really, really famous person that everybody knows, you know? And again, whisper to me, go out, think about it for a while. Well, you guys go back to your table or whatever, and we wouldn't push them hard to bet or do it right now. So usually it would take a couple minutes and they come back. All right, we got to see this thing. I'm like, all right, now right there, I'm like, I got him, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I'm like, all right, well, this is how it goes. Is when you tell me the thing, I'll walk back in the bar. You can make sure that I'm not giving signals or winking at them, whatever.
Morse code, blinking your eyes, right?
Right. I go, but like I said, it's really loud on here. I stamp my fingers at him, and he knows, he'll know. So it's like I said, we kind of send out sound waves, and they're like, fine, and they're just staring at me, making sure I'm not giving any like
not doing like two behind the head,
baseball signals, touch the nose, and whatever. And they'd pick a famous person. For this example, we will pick out Michael Jordan. There's not, I don't think,
and it can be anything. It's not something magical about Michael Jordan.
Right. Let's say this guy picks out Michael Jordan because obviously he's famous and everything, right? And the trick was, you're going to spell the name to your partner, which in this case is my buddy Charlie, our buddy, right? And if I was going to spell the first name, I'd hold my fingers up and I go, this is an easy one. Now, if I said it was an easy one, I was gonna spell the first name. If I looked at him, I go, "Ooh, this is a hard one." He knows I'm spelling the last name. So in this, and your snaps are your vowels. But the first word that comes out of my mouth, you take that first letter. So an example, I would start out and I go, "This is a hard one." So now he knows what I'm spelling the last name, right? Now it begins, right? And then I go,
Yeah.
just concentrate. What letter do we have there?
J.
J.
Yeah.
Now here. So I said just
Okay.
concentrate. So he's got the J. Now I got to do the a vowel, right? So it's A-E-I-O-U, right? So I go just concentrate. He gets the J. I say, right? That's O,
A-E-I-O. Okay.
right?
Gotcha.
Really concentrate. Don't quit. Now you got it, right?
Now, I watched this before you guys ever let me in on how you did it. I had no idea. And I was watching the table. I was watching where you were sitting. I was watching your eye movements. I was watching the bartenders and waitresses trying to figure out how these codes are going through. And I bet I paid for a dozen beers before I figured any of this shit out.
So
Yeah.
now it's on Charlie, right? So I would think that he's got Jordan,
Yep.
you know? And let's say he struggled. And I go, you know what? Maybe it's a little easier than I thought it was. Now I notice I'm going back to the first name. And I'll go, mind reading is tough. Never quit, right? So, or I'm sorry, concentrate.
Well, then you got to spell it
Right.
correctly.
Yeah. I was doing mind. But a lot of times, and now Charlie's got to sell this thing. He's got to go, God, it's loud in here. And he'd close his eyes and he'd be like, I don't know, I see like a ball or something, or a guy, like a not a superhero, but guy jumping. Oh, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And they'd go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, we
Like there's
did,
damn near some throwdowns on some of those too.
and they're like, what the fuck? All right. And I'm like, do it again, do it again, do it again, and then we'd go, well, let's do the shot and drink just like any other, but you like to get the money up front, or
Yeah.
right? So then we do a shot and they'd order, it'd take a while from them to get the bartender or whatever. Like, and then it turned into, a couple guys betting us. We're starting to get like a crowd.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the one guy that just, the two guys or whatever that got their mind blown, they're like, no, you got to see this. Get here. No. Tell them. Do the same thing. We do this off, and you got to be quick, never.
Oh yeah. But then as the evening went on and there's a little bit of a crowd watching,
Right.
two things can go wrong. One, Mr. Coon doesn't know how to spell the name. Or two, Charlie's so drunk he got lost in what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And everything is Michael
letters,
Jordan.
Yeah. And you can't go, George, you can't fuck it up.
Marcus Jargon. What?
Come on, he's on the Quaker box. That was that guy's real name,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
And then we'd get people that they want to see him. Like, well, you got to pay to see too. It's not free. So we'd go, well, we'll bet you guys. So if we lose, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 of you guys. You got to buy us drinks.
Yeah.
Or we'll buy you guys all one. And then after the second time you do it, you got 6 drinks coming back. And everybody wants to.
So that's what I mean. So like by the third time you and Charlie are doing this, Charlie's like, that's it. And then you see him going, hey, how many times did you snap?
Right. And sometimes, like Michael Jackson. Everybody knows Michael Jackson. So you got to say it's a hard one. You got to spell Jackson. Well, there's Reggie Jackson. There's, there's a million Jacksons.
Right.
So then you got to go back. It's easier than you think. And then you got to spell Michael. I mean, as soon as you do the M and the I, he's going to say, I don't know. I see it.
Some guy walking backwards.
What's
right.
that? You got to sell it. So we had a lot. But me, I got to be quick. You know, like just con, just concentrate. Really
Yeah.
concentrate. Don't quit.
Because if you're sitting there
Now you got it.
counting,
I mean,
then
it's
it's
right,
really obvious, right?
and you got to
Yeah.
spell it out. So the best one, and we'll move on here. But the best one ever, a guy gave me Weird Al Yankovic.
See, no way you know how to spell that.
Yankovic, right?
Right.
And I'm like, oh fuck. And it's two first names, so how's Charlie? Is Charlie gonna really follow along? you know? And we got it.
Yeah.
And people just
No
were
shit.
blown out of their mind and everything.
Did he get it because it was just such a weird spelling? It can't be anything
Well,
else after you get
I
Yank.
spelled Weird Al.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I think it's spelled
So you do
weird.
Al as the hard
Right.
part, AL. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no, we had some very good times on there. We won a lot. We used to start playing for bar tabs,
I
so it could
know.
be late at the night. I'd be like, Charlie, hey. He's like, what's going on? We doing a shot or whatever. I'm like, no, dude, our tab is like $125. He goes, well, what do you got? We like, but then I'm trying to read Charlie, going, okay, is he that fucked up that he's not? Is he gonna get this or screw it up or whatever?
Yeah.
And
how do you come up? Did you hear that? Where did you learn that? Where did you come
I,
up with that one?
I don't even remember, but I mean, I've been doing this since the '90s.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
And
yeah.
I did it to a guy at one of the rooftops probably about 6 months ago. I did it with my son.
Oh, no kidding.
And he, to this day, he's freaking blown away. Mark Vendetti, and I think it was Chris Lux, they got so good at it, they were doing the second letter or something. Instead of Jordan, they just concentrate. They they were using coming up with I don't know. They were smooth. I mean, way more advanced. I can't remember
Way
what.
more advanced at scamming people than
Right,
you
right,
were.
right.
That's awesome.
That's some good
Well,
times.
that one's based on paying attention. You and Charlie feed off each other well. I don't know. There's other games I've seen played that take a little bit more physical skill. I know you in Manland, you got like bag boards going, playing cornhole, playing bags with everybody. You playing a league, run a league.
Mm-hmm.
There was time. God, this was probably late '90s, early 2000s. It was before I moved to Minnesota, where you and Chad, I think, into a tournament where you could have won like a trip to the CMAs or some weird shit like that.
CMAs, round trip tickets, and hotel stay, and tickets, obviously.
So you played a couple qualifiers that were there out in Lake County, out where we lived, and then you had to go down. Fuck, I don't know.
Bourbon
South
Street.
Side of the city
It was
or
like,
something.
It was called Bourbon Street, not New Orleans, but in Chicago. Yeah, it was south
of the city or south edge of the city or something, right?
Cool bar, big.
Well, they had like 2 or 3 bar areas, and then they had that big, like almost like concert hall, right?
Right.
Plus some outside space.
Yeah, big patio and everything. Yeah. And the tournament was inside the facility.
Yeah. So I think you, Charlie, Chad went down there because you and Chad were playing. And Julie and I came down and met you guys, and we actually drove to the place to watch.
Right.
And who was the guy that you played? Because he was like
Gino.
Yeah, he was like a nemesis. He was a good guy, bad guy kind of thing. He owned a restaurant or something like that.
Yeah, something. And I never did stay in touch with him. I did for a while afterwards, but
you were the anchor. So I mean, folks, you can kind of pick up from Mike. He's a little cocky, right? He's probably better than average. A lot of shit he does. Bags, you're one of the better players I've ever seen play the game. Chad, when he's on your team, is pretty good.
Yep.
But when you have to play above your level to win something you shouldn't win, Chad's done.
Chad
gets in his own head,
and that's what it is. And here, I'm still playing in a winter league right now, and Ben, or our T guy that we always bust his chops on and stuff like that. just last week. He's a pretty good player, and he was throwing off. I said, "You're in your head. Just throw the goddamn bag." You know how it's not like you're riding a bike for the first time. He's done it a million times, and then he started
Yeah.
throwing good. But it's mentally a lot, and
Yeah.
people think, come on, how hard can that be?" How Chad and I first started out, I think it was at Donnie Nelson had a big party, and when Donnie used to throw parties, there were big parties, and they had these bag of boards out there, and we went in. I'm like, wow, and I always love sports or
Yeah.
competition or
Anything
whatever.
you can turn into a competition.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I'm looking at him like, how hard can that be? Throwing a freaking bing bag on, and I don't know how many people that are listening to us have played. It's not that easy.
It's a big
And
thing now.
yeah, oh
Bag
yeah.
leagues everywhere. Yeah.
ESPN is showing tournaments.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Really?
Jay Rubin, that's a pro right now. He and I've
A
thrown in
pro
tournament.
cornhole player.
Yes,
You got to be kidding
he's
me.
got Red Bull as a sponsor, Viper bags. They
Holy
just
shit.
they just in the last month, you know how you got baseball cards? They have
Yeah.
bag cards. There's 6 different guys that they started with. He's one of them. That
No
trading
shit.
card, like his stats. He's right-handed, leads with his left foot. His
I gotta
average,
look this up. That's awesome.
yeah, it's blown up. I told everyone, I said, I think this is gonna be Olympic sport one day. I swear to God. Anybody, that's what one thing I love. Anybody can play, young, old, female, male. My wife's not bad at the damn game. Yeah, I mean she's pretty decent, but we we didn't win. Chad and I didn't win at Donnie's party. I'm like, again, I go over the top on a lot of things. I went home. I looked at the dimensions. I looked at how far. It's 27 feet front to front, 33 hole to hole. It's two, and I built my own boards.
Yeah.
And I have some property out here. And, when we say manland, a lot of guys have a man cave. Well, I have a back garage that we turn into basically a bar.
Yeah.
And
With
there's a
more
lot,
technology in it than most bars.
yeah, we and outside of Manland, plenty of room for a good 3 sets of bags or whatever. And I practice because I got to be good. And Chad did too, and because
Yeah.
Chad was awful, and Chad came a long way, and Chad's pretty good, right? And we got good at this thing. Then we did a Sundance League.
Yeah. I played in that with Charlie a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
You did
Chad and
okay.
yep, Chad and I won that league, and then we go to these tournaments, and we were starting to win bar neons or a bottle of Jaeger or whatever the prize was, and then
Yeah.
we hear these US 99 is a big country station in Chicago here, and they started doing these qualifiers for state. I'm like, what the heck? Let's get in that. And if you didn't, they only took the winners of these tournaments in all these different sections or regions or whatever, and
Yep.
then you qualify for state, and you go down to this Bourbon Street, and let's see who the top dog is. And
Yeah.
2 years in a row, we get to the finals with Gino, and he had a different partner the first and the second year, but it was always Chad and I. And I'm like, I can hang with Gino. I can get some points from him. He might get a couple from me here and there, but I'll probably get the best of him. You got to beat your guy. It's going to come down to there, and that's the worst thing I ever said because Chad can't take
Put the pressure on him. You got to beat
Right.
your guy. Yeah.
And
I think he beat you in 3 straight sets or something.
Oh, the first year, I mean, I had to you don't get well now you do actually get timeouts and bags, but I had to go, hey, drink a shot or something, because he was throwing 2 on, 2 off the board, which we throw a lot of quads, meaning every time we throw the 4, they go in the hole, right?
Yeah.
And
when you're playing a guy who does the same thing,
right,
you're 2 on and 2 off, and he throws 12 points on the board. Yeah.
He puts a 10 mark on you. He gets 12, you only had 2, that's 10 for them. So we got our butts kicked the first year. I mean, Chad was at the end like, oh, it was all my fault or whatever. Hey, we got to the finals. I'm like, no, I want to win. I want
Was
to go
that
to
the second
CMAs.
year that I came down and watched then?
Yep.
Okay.
The second year we did a lot better, but I think Chad kind of he don't like the pressure, you know,
Yeah.
and we didn't win. We lost to Gino again.
Yeah. But
Um,
afterwards,
ugh,
they had the a live band going out in
they were
the
good.
hall,
Yeah.
whatever, and they're playing 80s music, right? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard Mike and I talk about it all being about the music, right? We were right in our element. We were rocking it. I'm surprised they didn't change the spotlight to be on us
we
at the back of the room, two drunk guys in a small circle with their buddies, just
screaming
belting out
out
some
every
Bon
word.
Jovi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Living on a whatever.
Yeah, I think Julie and Charlie walked away at one point.
Yeah. Well, we definitely caught up on drinks and you know after getting our butts kicked or losing whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you weren't in the cab ride home.
No, Julie and I went home because
So
we had to get back to the dogs or some weird thing because we still
Charlie,
lived way out in Gray's Lake.
yeah, Charlie and I and Chad get a hotel, Comfort Inn or nothing, you know, Hilton or anything,
Right,
and it was
right.
like 10 minutes away from this Bourbon Street, right?
Yeah.
Well, we get
And by the
all
time you guys call the cab, oh shit. What number was next?
yeah.
212 what?
Well, and we're in this cab, and he's driving us back to the hotel room, and we're in the cab, and I gotta pee. Everybody knows once I break the seal, I'm 10-minute intervals, right? And we're in the cab for like a half hour, and we're like, "Hey, do you know where we're going?" Yeah, 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 yeah. And I think he was like running the meter up, you know.
Going in circles or
And then
taking the
Charlie saw
longest
like a
possible way he could.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Charlie goes, "If I see a sign that says like Milwaukee North, this is like it felt like we're like halfway home, you
Yeah.
know." And he
Going the
dropped
wrong way. Yeah,
right,
because your hotel was on the south side. Yeah.
right, and he finally we get to the hotel, and he says some ungodly fair amount, and we're like, "Here," I think we both threw him like $20 a piece or something, like $60, and he wanted like 200 and some dollars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's all you get. He's like, I call cops. I'm like, I'm in room 216. Call the cops. I don't care, you know. And
Yeah.
and he was screaming, but I'm like,
Yeah.
and then the next day we when we sober up, we look and yeah, we were like a 9-minute drive from the place. And he was either
Oh
really
man.
bad at his directions or his
Oh, I
job
think
or
he knew exactly what he was doing because he was hoping you guys were too drunk to pay attention.
which
Because I thought you said that like he wouldn't leave. He was out there in the
oh yeah,
parking lot honking his horn or whatever, and you like leaning out maybe not leaning out the window because the hotel window doesn't open that
yeah.
far. But you had it open as far as it went. You're screaming at him, going, "Come up here, man!"
We told the desk lady, the night desk lady, I said, "Hey, if the cops come, we're in 216. They're looking for us, but and nothing transpired, thank
Yeah.
goodness. But
Oh yeah, he knew what he did. Yeah, he was just trying to scare you.
we would run into a lot of different situations. We met a lot of different characters and friends along the way too.
Yeah. Well, it's something. Wow, not exactly the same, but random encounters when you guys made the trip up here to Minneapolis, and we went to Blackhawks Wild game and
Met Steve and
met
Connie.
Steve and Connie.
Well,
That's
and
all
don't let
because
the cat
somebody.
out of the bag on that one, because that's
Uh,
an episode that we are bringing in Mr. Charlie Jedrzejczyk into the studio, and so you guys don't think that Dean and I are making this stuff up, but and we'll hear his side too. But we
yeah.
we met. Remember Loon Lake Landing,
Loon Lake. Oh yeah,
like Grass Lake in '83. It's not even there anymore.
it burned
Um,
down, right?
it burned down, and we were DJing, and it was a bar. I had to bring our own equipment. They didn't have like a DJ
Yeah,
setup,
yeah. They
you
bring a
know.
unit, set it up.
And the
Yeah.
guy would always tell me, and he always paid me, and it was a cool little bar. That's when, God, that's where we met Dina.
Yeah.
Dina Alley. That I mean, I don't know if she listens to the episodes, but she is with Coldwell Banker now. She's a very successful realtor. She
Plug the realty business. There
Yeah.
you
Oh,
go.
hey, she helped my first son Tyler and Jordan, his girlfriend, get a house, and she
Yeah,
busted her
that's right.
butt, and
Nice, nice.
she did a great job. But I mean, she had to be all of 21 then, 22
Yeah.
when we met her, and the funniest story is they had a radio station come in for like a live remote, and we're DJing, we're
Yeah.
playing all the tunes, but they're going, hey, we're out at Loon Lake Landing, WXLC, whatever. And that's when the White Sox was in the playoffs to for the Major League Baseball,
Yep. Yep.
and they were giving away Sox tickets to the lucky winner or whatever, like third base, first row or whatever. And the guy, you had to fill out your first initial, last name, put your thing in the drawing, and they allowed us to participate. And the guy's reading it off. He goes, "See, Jidri," and we're like, "Yeah," because nobody knows how to pronounce Jed Ryzik, Charlie's last name.
Yeah.
And
Well, even when you introduced me to Charlie's mom, you didn't introduce her as Mrs. Jed Ryzik. You said this is Mrs. Charlie because nobody says the last name.
She was my God bless her soul. I called both his parents Mr. and Mrs. Charlie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
God, they were my Mrs. Charlie was like my second mother. But anyways, and so we're all excited. The Sox end up getting beat, and they don't even go to the playoffs or the next round. So we don't.
But you got tickets to the game.
Yeah, we got tickets. But no, the best thing that came out of it, because Deanna Alley and her friend Tammy, I want to say that we met there. We were talking, blah blah blah. Somehow we bet something, and Charlie and I won, and they had to make us a turkey dinner. Oh no! Now I remember. And I wish Charlie was here. They won a turkey. That was one of the prizes.
They wanted you win Sox tickets, and they wanted turkey.
Yeah, and there was other stupid prizes, beach towels or whatever. And we said, well, tell you what, we bet some stupid bet. If we win, you guys got to make that turkey for us, food. And we won. And that night we left, and the freaking the bar burned down.
That's the night it burned down?
Yes.
Did you take your equipment home, or was it one of those things
so
where you're going to be there all weekend?
The guy always used to tell me that, hey, we're fully bonded, fully insured. If you want to leave your equipment, come get it the next day because you guys get out of here at 2:00 in the morning. When I'm like, no, we'll take it, And it burned down.
Oh my God.
And every time when we do run in, we used to see Dina a lot back in the day of Greenleaf and Poor Richards and stuff like that. But, we don't bar hop anymore. But every time we do run into her, we're like, you owe us a turkey dinner, And she goes, it's not our fault it burned down. I'm like, that wasn't the bet.
They were trying to cook the turkey. That's what burned the place down.
Maybe. I still think that place was, it was like Greek lightning.
I think I was in there maybe twice before that all happened.
Cool little bar.
Yeah, it's kind of tucked back in there by the water, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
My buddy Kenny, he was looking to move, but he wanted to be on the water, and because they have some Loon Lake, out there, and they got some nice little house around there. But he could never find a spot or something that's for sale. Hi, Jax. My dogs are let in. But anyways, I want to give a teaser. Well, you kind of started it actually with. We have hopefully next week. I would imagine in the next couple of weeks. Now we got the holiday coming with Christmas and all, but to bring Charlie in here.
Yeah. Have him corroborate some of these stories we've been telling. And I think another good one for when Charlie's with us, we should talk about the Bud Girls.
Man, how dare you? Remember this, everybody. We, especially back then, a lot younger. We do pretty much anything for some free beer or free liquor.
Yeah.
And
definitely push the envelope a bit.
Oof. But we came out okay, I guess. But yeah, so we got we're gonna have Charlie visit us. I'm telling you that those two and we got to do them two separate episodes. But the trip to Minneapolis and the
Yeah.
Bud Light girls, I'm telling you, you won't believe them. You think we're making it up, man. And
That
but
should generate a lot of email volume after those two.
oh god, great times, for sure. Um, you got anything else, man?
That feels like a good place to cue it up for next time.
I'll tell you what. Do not forget to go to our website, our YouTube channel. We are putting on the clips of shorter clips on the website of the episode.
Yep.
Please go
Push
to
people
our
to YouTube.
Yeah, click on the
Like,
link.
subscribe. Yep.
Do all that kind of stuff, man. And any comments, concerns, hit us up on info@mikeanddeed.com.
Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon, folks.
Be good.
All right.
And free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Won't you take me away?